Hi and welcome to this episode of Bread. Today we're going to talk about smoking.
So I've got an interesting story. I was listening to the radio the other day, and they were talking about Obama, the current so-called president, and they were saying something about him smoking a doobie.
Doobie.
They were saying that everybody knows there was probably a doobie there. Why didn't he pick it up? So you may wonder why I brought that up, but I think we're talking about smoking today.
Smoking.
And why is it that it seems like everywhere you walk or drive, you find somebody
Smoking.
putting
like,
that?
Well, if I look at it, I say the neighbor next to me on the left smokes, the neighbor on the right smokes, the neighbor across the street smokes, the neighbor kitty corner smokes, the neighbor... I mean, it's surrounded by smoking, it seems like. And it probably differentiates by region and stuff, not what area you're in. But the question here is smoking cigarettes, tobacco,
Is it
marijuana,
sin?
Is it sin?
Is it found in the Bible even? And I don't think we can't find anything specific about smoking.
No.
The word smoking, for that matter, unless there was Sodom and Gomorrah was smoking.
Yeah, because of the fire and brimstone.
Right, but we don't really find that specifically as being a sin. But we're talking about, is this what is it? Why do people do it?
Well, obviously they do it because it becomes sort of a crutch, or one of the things is it's addiction.
It's addiction, the tobacco. Right.
It becomes something that something you do when you're anxious. Like when I was working at Sears and stuff, I noticed that everybody would take their 15 minutes and their smoke breaks. I didn't get the smoke break because I didn't smoke, but everyone was saying the vast majority of the people smoked.
Yeah, it kind of makes you want to take up smoking while you're working so you can get your break.
Just so you get your break and hang out with the other people. But I think what happens is they get to a point where they just can't take it anymore, and they're like, I have to get my smoke break. Or
it's a calm. I know
it calms them.
It actually is a chemical reaction in the brain.
Mainly because they're addicted, and so you go into withdrawal, and so you got to have the fix to calm you down. But
can a Christian smoke? Here's a verse. In Romans 12:2 it says, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that a good and acceptable and perfect will of God." So I guess I would kind of ask the question, and this can go for any sin, whether it be lying or lust and stealing or adultery or anything else, but if I'm trying to please God, would Jesus be hanging with me smoking a joint or whatever?
Yeah, it's about having the things that you're physical things like you're relying on.
Right.
And I think another aspect of it would be, besides not wanting to be conformed and be like the world, is the fact that there are health issues with that, and being that our bodies as Christians are the temple of the living God, we are willingly damaging ourselves, unnecessarily so.
Yeah. I mean, we have plenty already in our minds and going on physically, things that are somewhat beyond our control.
Yeah.
And why add something that we know kills? Let's just say what it is. It kills.
Yeah. And
it's toxic. Because,
and like things like smoking marijuana or some of that stuff, I mean, it'll put you in an altered state of mind.
Yeah. Yeah, we see it daily if we drive or go around town. We see that going on with the people that...
There is stuff in the Bible about pharma or narcotics, about there's people in there that are dealing with narcotics, and they're supposed to stay away from that because basically it's a link to Satan. It's how he gains control.
Okay, yeah, we sort of let him in. Here's a verse in Galatians 5:19 through 21. We've got a list what the deeds of the flesh are, and that says the deeds of the flesh are evident, which are immorality, impurity, sensuality, idolatry, sorcery, and the Greek word for sorcery is pharmakia.
Yeah.
And that's where we get, what's the word? We get
pharmaceuticals or pharmacy.
Right. And of course that list goes on, but it's interesting. And we also have the word sorcery or pharmakia, in Revelation 18:23, and the light of a lamp will not shine in you, the great city Babylon, any longer, and the voice of the bridegroom and bride will not be heard in you any longer, for your merchants were the great men of the earth, because all the nations were deceived by your sorcery.
And the word is pharmakia,
Yeah.
pharmaceutical, which seems to have something to do with drugs, or perhaps what we call sorcery,
mind-altering chemicals,
and dealing with spirits and so forth. They seem to have a correlation between the two.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that smoking a cigarette is going to, make that happen or anything like that, but there does seem to be a link there between drugs and spirits and so forth.
And as a Christian, if our bodies are temples of the Lord, of the Holy Spirit,
we shouldn't want to have anything to do with that.
We should definitely be aware of what's going on here. That it wouldn't make sense that you'd want to open yourself up to that.
Yeah. So again, smoking in itself, I don't think it makes a person not saved necessarily. Like if a Christian smokes, I don't think it does. I mean,
no. And if
it's a hard issue.
We're talking about a battle with sin. Let's say we're a believer and we're having a battle with sin. That means you may be battling with smoking. You may be struggling with it, and you still want it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, cigarettes. I mean, the body is literally addicted to the nicotine.
Yeah.
But
so we're not saying that you cannot be saved.
No.
Or you're not going to heaven.
So those are some thoughts about smoking. You can take them for what they're worth.
Thank you for watching us on this episode of Bread. Stay tuned for another episode.
Thanks.